Hello, everyone. We are on to week 16. That's 4 full months. Hard to imagine. Week 16 of principles. This week is listen generously. Listening is more than simply not speaking. Give others your undivided attention. Be present and engaged. Minimize distractions and let go of the need to agree or disagree. Suspend your judgment and be curious to know more rather than jumping to conclusions. We care for and serve our customers and teammates better when we listen to understand. This is another principle that I think requires a lot of practice, focus. I think most of us are guilty of, not being great listeners and not wanting to speak before the other person's even done talking oftentimes. So, but I got a couple thoughts on this. Part of this talks about giving others your undivided attention. I can tell you one thing that I've done here with people that report directly to me is I have weekly one-on-one meetings with them, and this again is something I've done now for I don't know 7 or 8 years, I suppose. But the purpose of that is just that is to give them my undivided attention. What was happening in the past is without having a weekly one-on-one meeting, people were coming throughout the week wanting to ask me things or have me involved in decisions, and it was very chaotic and hard for me to really pay attention to the level I needed to. And so, what I figured out is to give undivided attention to people was just to dedicate specific time, and so that's worked really well, and it just minimizes distractions. So think about that in your own work world. Is that something that could benefit you? Is just dedicate specific time with people so that you aren't distracted and can give them that attention. Another piece of this is to be curious. And last year in my Vistage group, my CEO group, we had a speaker that was talking to us about coaching, and a large part of what we worked on that day of coaching was listening. And part of listening, she defined listening as three different levels. Level one was if somebody is being distracted or just interested in what you're saying, that's what we call level one listening. Level two listening is what we normally, most of us are usually in this level, which is being polite and professional. But then level three is when you're actively engaged and invested in what the other person is saying. And when you can get to that level with somebody, it's amazing how more productive and how more rich your conversations and communication will be. And so think about, I mean, you will put people into this category. You can every day, every interaction you have. Think about putting people or yourself in level one, level two, or level three listening. And the more often you can get into that level three listening, your communication and relationships with the other person are going to be much more deep, much more interesting. The other thing that we learned that day when we talk about being curious, is to ask questions when you're listening. And when you do that, by being curious, you have to be very genuine about it, though. I mean, I think we've all been in conversations when the other person acts interested, but you can tell they're not genuine about it. So when we talk about being curious, that curiosity has to be very genuine, and to focus on the speaker, not yourself, and that'll also help with communication and listening and build better relationships. And my final thought on this is I maybe talked about this recently as well, but this concept of being interested versus interesting, many salespeople especially want to be interesting in that they're going to tell you a lot about themselves or the product that they're selling, which is good, right? You have to be, they have to be that way so that they can sell the product or you can learn about it. But the part that a lot of them miss is the part of being interested. And so you have to do both, right? And this isn't just for salespeople, but it's for all of us when you're um, having conversation is in addition to being interesting and talking about yourself, make sure you mix in being interested in the other person. And again, that gets back to the level of listening, the genuine curiosity. And so I think anyway, um, just think about that concept when you're interacting of being interested in addition to being interesting. So this is a tough one. It takes again a lot of focus and discipline. So let's work on listen generously. Otherwise, have a good week. Thank you.